Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of your favorite YouTube channel and podcast. Hashtag KTSC Sports Talk with your host, Justin P. This is episode 179 for the YouTube channel. And for the audio podcast, this is season 5, episode 7. You can check out episodes 1 through 6 right there on Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, All Radio, and Amazon Music. Today, got a very, very special guest. He's one of the writers, sports writers for Sports Athletic, the Addict. He covers the Utah Jazz. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Mr. Tony Jones.
Oh man, that's too kind, man. You didn't have to say all that.
Hey man, it's all good, man. All right, man. So Tony, we're gonna start off with a little Q&A. Let the people know a little bit about you, your interests, your likes, and stuff like that. So you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. All right. First question is what's your favorite TV show or TV shows that you're currently binge watching?
Currently binge watching right now. Currently binge watching Ozark and Peaky Blinders. I just started Peaky Blinders. Um, I just like usually so House of Cards, Breaking Bad, and The Wire are like three shows that I usually like. I mean, obviously I've watched them for the first time a long time ago, but I usually like rewatch them. But Peaky Blinders is the new show. I'm actually this is actually a good question. I'm actually really behind. So Peaky Blinders is a new show. I'm finishing up Ozark. I haven't done Ted Lasso. I haven't done Succession. Um, so yeah, the Peaky Blinders right now, probably.
Okay, all right. Question two. Give me your top five favorite movies of all time that you like.
Top five favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna go with because we're gonna shout out our African Americans. I'm gonna go with Soldier Story number one
Okay.
from 1986 with Denzel Washington, David Allen Greer when they were just starting. Denzel Washington was just starting. Uh, Adolph Caesar, R.I.P. to Adolph Caesar, Patti LaBelle, Howard Rollins, R.I.P. to Howard Rollins. So I'm gonna go Soldier Story number one. I'm gonna go Goodfellas number two.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Casino number three. Um, I'm gonna go Primal Fear with Richard Gere number four, and then I'm gonna go Sleepers number five.
Hey, that's those are very very good movies, classics. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Number three, your top five favorite music artists: rap, hip hop, R&B. It don't matter.
So Biggie's number one.
Okay.
Biggie and Jay are one and two. Um, I'll probably go. So rap, hip hop, it don't matter. I'll probably go like Michael Jackson number three.
Hey, King of Pop, can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. Um, I will probably I'll probably go Mary J number four.
Okay.
Then um I probably go right now. I'll probably go a tie between Rick Ross and Gunna, even though we probably not gonna hear from Gunna for a long time.
He got caught up on that Rico, so free Gunner. Yeah.
And we're not gonna hear from Gunna for a while. So
Got you. Okay. All right. Question four: your favorite food or snack?
um God, I like terrible food. Chinese food, just like overall as a genre. Italian food, um, like seafood, definitely love seafood. Um, and then pretty much anything protein.
Okay.
And then I have a sweet tooth, so Skittles.
Okay. All right. Question five: your favorite activity or activities you like to do when you're not working?
Oh, definitely, just play basketball. That's the easiest question you'll ever ask me.
That's it. You don't like to go fish or shoot pool, stuff
No,
like that.
just like the hoop. I'm
Hey
gonna
man,
do that till the wheels fall off.
I know that's why you're there getting your jump on. Okay.
That
All right, the last question is everybody's favorite. If you could have dinner with five guests, dead or alive, famous or non-famous, who would it be?
um definitely Biggie. Um Definitely Malcolm King and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. Definitely. Um so W.E.B. Du Bois.
Okay,
I'm a descendant of him. He's a
okay,
cousin of mine.
me.
Um, I don't know how many times removed, but it's got to be a lot removed. But him, Paul Robeson, and Marcus Garvey.
Hey, those are great guests to have, man. Like, hey, that's probably the best one I've heard. And all right, I got a bonus one for you. I just added this. Give me your dream vacation.
My dream vacation would probably my dream vacation probably I've always kind of wanted to go to London.
Okay.
So probably London or somewhere in the Caribbean where like the water is blue.
Hey, sounds good to me. All right. So tell us, where did you grow up and how was your childhood?
I grew up in Brooklyn and I grew up in Philadelphia. So I spent most of my childhood in Brooklyn. I spent my last 2 years of high school in Philadelphia. Um, I spent my college years in Connecticut, and childhood was it was it's probably one you expect from someone growing up in New York at that time. In the '90s. So it was it was rough in spots, but it was great. I mean, I was a basketball player, so it was one of those things like a typical Saturday for me, especially in the summertime. Um, I would get up, I would play in the tournament at like 9 or 10 in the morning,
Huh?
then go to the store, get a quarter water, go play in another tournament at like 2 or 3 in the afternoon, go to the store, get some quarter water, and then go uptown and play in the tournament at night. I used to play, 3 games a day during the summer, especially in, various summer leagues. So, that part, it was fun. It was definitely fun. So, that part was fun. And, you know, I mean, New York was just kind of like any other city. There was good parts, there was bad parts. Try to stay away from the bad parts. And, you just try to, just go to school and stay out of trouble.
Yeah, so like you said, growing up in New York, like they say, you can make it there, you can make it anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so
Uh,
did you for the Knicks come growing up?
oh yeah, I'm a huge Knicks fan. Especially when I was growing up, that's when they were actually good. So um, they haven't been good since, but they were actually good then. And like we'd all be in the park. We'd be screaming Starks when we shot because of John Starks, and you know imitating Patrick Ewing's turnaround fadeaway jump shot. Um, you know It's just Derek Harper, Doc Rivers, all of those guys, and so that those that was a lot of memories there for sure.
Just tell us about that '94 Knicks team, the one that that they went to the finals. They took Houston to 7, but they just fell short.
Yeah, man, that was we thought we were going to get over the hump because that year, I mean,
Mike
there,
retired.
there was no Mike,
Yeah.
so there was no Mike in our way, standing in our way. We got that great call from Hugh Hollins in the conference semifinals to beat the Bulls and Scottie Pippen. We got past Indiana. got past the Pacers or whatever. Um, but man, Hakeem was just unbelievable, and you know, um, Sam Cassell was. I remember him being unbelievable in that series, and I just just remembered that it was the most painful part of that was just Marv Albert when John Starks was going like 2 for 18 or whatever he was. Marv Albert, on the TV be like, at some point you think Pat Riley would look somewhere else. As he took shot after shot, and then it was, I mean, it was painful because we were that close, and we've never come back. We've never come close again.
Yeah, they were up 3-2. Then you go back to New York, and Houston won the final two. It's like that next team they had, like you said, they had John Starr, Patrick Ewing, Xavier McDaniel, if I'm not mistaken, Big Charles Oakley. Like that team was, it was
Yeah, it was stacked.
yeah.
So
Pat Riley coach, I know you were like, damn, like. All right, so fast forward to 98, 98, 99, the lockout year. Y'all get back to the finals. You
yeah.
take on the Spurs. What's your thoughts on that team?
Well, that was a lot more enjoyable because nobody expected us to do anything.
They were,
And
if I'm not mistaken, they were the AC, correct?
yeah, we're the AC. Beat Miami in 5 in the first round, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Allen Houston, Latrell Sprewell were great. Um, Marcus Camby was really enjoyable in that run because, he had been a disappointment in his career up to that point. So he kind of, at that point, that was kind of his breakout. That series, that whole playoff run was kind of his breakout as an NBA player. And, you know, um, the guard play was really good. Like we were a different team at that point because we didn't have Patrick Ewing anymore. And I mean, well, we weren't relying on Patrick Ewing exclusively anymore. And and it was like a more wide open style, shooting a lot more threes, getting out in transition a lot more. And, but it caught up to us in the finals because we were just too small for Tim Duncan and David Robinson, and they just pounded us into oblivion. And Duncan was incredible. Avery Johnson was incredible. Sean Elliott was great. Um, but that run was so much more enjoyable because, it just kind of came out of nowhere. We thought, okay, we was going to be an A seed, and that was kind of it. And we kind of go out in the first round or whatever. But for us to get to the finals that year, that was probably, outside of the 2012 team and maybe last year, those were probably the 3 most enjoyable Knicks teams to watch in the last 2 decades, 2 or 3 decades.
Give me your thoughts on the current state of the New York Knicks right now.
um, Man, I want to believe, and I want to believe that, I think the coaching staff is solid. Um, but I think that, you know, I think everybody in our organization has to kind of get on the right page, same page. Um, we I would really love to see us move up into the top 4 somehow and grab Jaden Ivey because we so obviously need a franchise type of point guard on the roster, and we don't have that. Um, really, I really love the growth of RJ Barrett over the last year. Um, and we got to do something about Julius Randle. So, you know, that's kind of the state of the Knicks. I thought, we played well over our heads 2 years ago. Um, and then, Atlanta beat us in the first round. But, last year I thought we played, more commiserate to the talent level of the team. So we just got to improve the talent level for me.
Okay. What do you think? What do you think of Obi Toppin? I know he was taken like eighth overall a year or two ago. Do you think he's going to be, a transcendent superstar? Or you think he's just going to be another role player?
Well, I think he can be an elite role player. I love his athleticism. He's just got to keep working on the jump shot. Um, I think he needs. That's one of the reasons why. I'm hoping that the Knicks, move Julius Randle because he needs space and playing time to really grow as a player. Um, he's got elite athleticism. He's an elite athlete. Um, you know, he can be a a really good. He can be a good offensive player if the jump shot, especially the corner three, comes along. But he's one of those guys that he needs time to grow and mature, space to mature, and just kind of make mistakes. So and develop as a player. But yeah, he's a special talent athletically, but the skill set has to kind of catch up with him.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, he definitely can jump out the gym. He definitely got to work on getting a mid-range shot. Because at Syracuse, he was just dunking all over everybody. So I can
Yeah.
definitely agree with you on that. Give me a how did you like the hire of Tom Thibodeau? I talked to some Knicks fans. Some loved it, some didn't. Some kind of wish they would have went Miles Jackson or another direction. So what's your thoughts on Tibbs?
Well, Tibbs is what he is, right? Like he's gonna come in, he's gonna squeeze a lot out of a roster during the regular season. Um, but that comes with some drawbacks. Like, he's going to play his players. He's going to play his main seven a lot. So, guys that need developing aren't going to really develop a lot. Same thing we were just talking about Obi Toppin. The same thing with Cam Reddish. We spent a first round pick on him to acquire him from Atlanta, and he never played. Um, you know, but um, you're going to win, in most years, you're going to win 45 to 50, 55 games with him, especially if he has a little bit of talent on his roster. And, he's a tough, demanding coach. He's going to demand accountability. That's really good. Um, you know, it's just, um, the question is, can he take you to the top of the mountain? And if you have, Tom Thibodeau as your coach, can you win a championship? And that's always going to be the question with them.
Yeah, because when he's with the Bulls, he got close, but the team kind of like fizzled out because they were burnt out. Like you said, he gonna work his team to a nub. So same thing.
To a nub,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, because
that's the word we're using. To a nub.
yeah, because I heard Noah interviews and stuff like they say great coach, but he just gonna work you. Didn't play all the time. You burnt out. Same thing in Minnesota.
Luol Deng was washed by 30 because he played for Tibbs his whole career.
You
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 know,
you ain't lying, except for when he went to the Lakers his last little stint. But you're right about that. All right, you covered the Utah Jazz team, so just they decided to move on from Quinn Snyder. Was you shocked by that news?
well, Quinn Snyder kind of decided to move on from them.
Oh,
So, I was surprised in a vacuum because I thought that he would come back. But once my reporting indicated that there was a significant contract extension that was on the table that was unsigned, that's when I kind of figured that there was a real chance that he would leave. Um, it's surprising, but it's not. I just thought that he'd be there, but apparently he decided that he wanted to kind of take a step back and step away from the job. So you can't knock him for making that decision.
yeah. In the last 30 years, they only had three coaches. Of course, the great Jerry Sloan, rest in peace to him. You got Ty Corbett, and now you got Quinn Snyder. So like, the Jazz, they stay with their head coaches for a long time. But
Right.
looking at this roster right now, what do they got to do to get into the finals? That team they were back in the '90s was a lot was Stone, but Stockton, Malone, and those guys like that.
Well, I thought that they underperformed, commiserate to their talent last year. I thought they had a 55 win roster pretty easily last year, and they won 49 games. Um, they didn't play well, especially in the second half of the year. Second half of the year, they didn't play well at all. They lost. I can't tell you how many 20-point leads that they lost, double-digit leads that they lost in the fourth quarter last year. So, they were a team that should have, been 55-29 or I'm 55-27 or 56-26 or 57-25, something like that. And they ended up 49-33. So they kind of really underperformed last year. And it wasn't due to basketball stuff. It was, just a lot of stuff going on. So, um, that being said, structurally, they need to change some of what they do. They're very thin on the wings. They need to get bigger on the perimeter. They need to get a lot more defensive oriented on the perimeter. They need to move Donovan Mitchell full time to the point guard spot. And then they need to decide, who they're going to trade and who they're not going to trade, because, in order to make some changes, pretty much the only way they're going to make any major changes on this team is to be a trade team. So they have to figure that out as well. So, there's a chance that, this could turn into a really busy week for me.
Gotcha. So, just give me your whole thoughts on Rudy Gobert. I know you're a two-time Defensive Player of the Year, but do you feel like he's like one of those main staples you gotta keep, or you feel like he could be traded, you can acquire more assets for?
Well, I think he's one of the best three centers in the league. I thought that he was by far the best defender in the league this year. I thought the voters got it wrong in terms of making Marcus Smart Defensive Player of the Year. I thought they got it way wrong.
I agree. I agree on that.
Um, I thought that the All NBA voters got it wrong, voting Karl Anthony Towns third team All NBA over him. So, I think that, he's going to be 30 in a few weeks. Actually, he's going to be 30 later this week. He's in his prime. He played as good as he ever did last year in the regular season, and he's a guy that for me is a near superstar talent. That being said, if you're the Jazz and you want to make real changes to your roster, he's probably the avenue. He's probably the piece that you want to use. You kind of want to trade him while he's still in his prime. Um, you know, you've obviously chosen Donovan Mitchell, who's 4 or 5 years younger. You've and he's the guy that can get you a pretty healthy return. So if you're going to be different, he's probably the tool that you use to trade. But for the reasons that I said before, which is that he's still, really, really good. You just can't give him away. So if you don't get the return that you should get for somebody of his talent and his ability, then you keep him. And I think that's the decision that the Jazz are going to have to figure out for themselves. And I think they're going to have to figure it out for the draft, because if you do trade him, then you probably want to try to get a pick in return, and try to get into this draft, because right now the Jazz don't have any draft picks.
Yeah, I know, because of the trades with OKC and all these other things. But you saying now move Donovan Mitchell back to point guard. So what would that leave Michael Conley? Will he come off the bench, or will they make him another trade candidate as well?
It would either, if he's on the roster, he probably has to come off the bench, or or you trade him. My thought is that he's still a starter level player. Um, and he's still really good. It's just that the fit isn't there anymore. I don't think you can keep going with Donovan Mitchell as your shooting guard, because you just don't want to be as small in the backcourt as the Jazz have been.
Mhm.
So Donovan Mitchell is an average size shooting guard, who makes up for it with a 6'10" wingspan. But because of his body composition and because he's 6'1", and with the 6'10" wingspan, if you move him to the point, he becomes an above average size point guard. And size matters when it relates to position, especially body composition, and your ability to bump shoulders and get your shoulders past people. It's just different trying to get your shoulders past a 6'2" or 6'3" guy, which is what Donovan is doing at the point guard spot, than a 6'7", 6'6", 6'7" guy at the two guard spot. Um, so earlier in Donovan's career, he wasn't nearly as good as he is now in terms of the game managing aspect, which is why you really needed Conley in the starting lineup, because you needed Conley to figure out mismatches and get the ball moving and stuff like that. And Donovan can do a lot of that stuff himself now. So now that he's kind of come along in the cerebral aspects of the position, it's just probably time to just put him, at that position. And plus, if Donovan Mitchell's your best offensive player, at some point, it's you just kind of want the ball in the hands of your best offensive player, to start every possession.
Okay. So you see the Lakers high Darvin Ham. So who do you see the Jazz going after as a head coach? Anybody on your wish list that you want the Jazz to hire?
Well, it's still a pretty wide open race. So I don't have a inkling on who they're going to go. I mean, who they're going to hire specifically, but I, my thought, in terms of talking to people and just talking to my sources, I think they really want to go young. Um, you know, but I think that they want that guy to also be experienced. So, you know, I think it's going to be, if I had to guess, I think it's going to be somebody, with, who's somebody who can grow with the organization, but somebody who's had significant experience before coming through the organization, even if he hasn't been a head coach.
Got you. What do you think about Mark Jackson coaching the Utah Jazz? Would that be appealing to you?
It would never happen.
He said it never happened.
Never.
uh,
It would never be a thought. That's just no diss to Mark Jackson, but Jazz fans would not allow that.
I got you. Only other person I can think of is somebody probably like what about the guy that's the coach with coach at Oklahoma, played at Duke, Jeff Cable, something like that.
Nah, I mean it's probably going to be somebody who's been an assistant in the league, up to this point. So, you know, possibly Alex Jensen, possibly Johnny Bryant, possibly Will Hardy, who's with the Celtics right now, possibly Adrian Griffin. I think Adrian Griffin is somebody to keep your eye on, because he was a finalist. He was a finalist when Quinn Snyder got the job. I think somebody like a Charles Lee, or maybe like a Jerome Allen. There's a lot of guys. The Jazz have cast a wide net. They've interviewed about upwards to 15 people. So, um, you know, we'll see who comes out of it in terms of a finalist list. But it's definitely going to be somebody that's already in the league.
Another name I wouldn't mind them saying is getting is Maurice Cheeks, remember?
Oh yeah, of course. I played with his nephew in high school.
Okay. Yeah, because he's been around, he's been around the block for a while, former player. I think the players will relate to him a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Just give me your thought. Just give me your thoughts on the NBA Finals. Just a little recap.
Yeah, I thought that that Golden State figured Boston out um, in terms of how to defend them by game four. And, once they figured that out, I don't think Boston was able to make the adjustments to counter the adjustments that Golden State made. I thought that Steve Kerr had just a wonderful series coaching. I thought that he was the best coach in the series by a wide margin. And, obviously Stephen Curry had, probably the best series that he's ever had from start to finish. Certainly his best series in the finals. And obviously Andrew Wiggins was just absolutely phenomenal. So, Golden State deserves it. They earned it. And, you can't knock that run. I mean, they won it. They won the title this year without going to a game seven. And, they were, so that they were clearly the best team in the NBA this year.
I agree, man. Like I said, I knew they were probably gonna win it, man. When they started off, remember they were number one seed in the West, and a couple guys got hurt, Phoenix got hot, so they caught
Yeah.
them a little bit. But I already know, in the playoffs, I don't see nobody beating them 4 times in the series. I just don't. Boston did a great job. Like I said, Udoka turned that team around. They were like under 500 before the All Star break. Then after the All Star break, they just hit full gear, and then swept the Nets. Beat the defending champs in the Bucks. Beat the Miami Heat in seven. So they were already like a little kind of tapped out. Like I said, they stole game one after being down. Then after that, Steve Kerr made his adjustments, and then boom, you
Yeah.
know, took off. And then, like I said, Wiggins started off slow, but then finished strong in games 4, 5, or 6. So that right there was the reason why they was able to win that series. Because Steph had a bad game five, and he came back and had a
Yeah, that game five is when I knew the series was over because Steph was otherworldly in the first four games, and you were thinking, okay, all Boston needs is a bad Steph game to take advantage. Because in all four of these games, had Steph not played well, Boston was going to run away with those games. And then you got the bad Steph game in game five, and Golden State still wasn't going away. So I felt like then once you got the bad Steph game, um, and once you got the bad Steph game and the Warriors still won by double digits, you kind of felt like the series was over, even if it went seven.
I agree with you totally. Like I said, they made them adjustments. Draymond started playing better. Jordan Poole started playing a little better. So hey, like I said, they did the champs four out of 6 tries, not bad. Let's talk about the LA Lakers and then we'll wrap it up, man. What's your expectations for them this year and expectations for the new head coach, Darvin Ham?
Well, I think the tangible things are I think we're going to see an extremely motivated LeBron James. And he proved last year that he's clearly still on top of his game. He was 30 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, whatever, 52% shooting. Like he had offensively, he had one of his best years in a long time. But I think you're going to see him. I think you're going to see him play a lot harder than he did last year, especially defensively. I think he believes in Darvin Ham, which is one of the main reasons that Darvin got the job. And then it's just going to be about what adjustments to the roster do the Lakers make in the offseason? Can they give LeBron and Anthony Davis a roster around them to where they can win? Because that's the main thing with Golden State, right? Like, obviously Steph stirs the drink, but they got a roster around them where it just kind of doesn't matter whether even if Steph doesn't play well, it kind of still doesn't matter because the roster around him is so good. And, you know, the Lakers can't give LeBron a roster to where, if LeBron's not averaging 35 points a game, they have no chance. So they have to figure out a way to get more shooters around them, more defenders. Um, if I'm Los Angeles, I'm offering Russell Westbrook to Charlotte and taking back Gordon Hayward and trying to see if Gordon Hayward can stay healthy. Um, but we'll see what kind of adjustments they make, and we'll see what the roster looks like by the end of July.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Everything you just said, they definitely got to try to get some more shooters on that team some way, somehow. Because right now, nobody can space the floor for them. I was telling somebody else who had on the show, like he's a Laker fan. They got like they won the championship. They had guys who could shoot the ball and they had good defenders. So they got to find a way to balance that roster up like they did when they had Danny Green and all those guys like that. Man, amazing show, man. Tony, let the people know where they can find you at, like on your social media and stuff and all that.
Yeah, I'm at T Jones on the NBA. On Twitter, on IG. I'm at T Jones Athletic, and you can find me in the pages of the Athletic. So I really appreciate you guys for tapping in, and just tap into the Athletic, subscribe, and read my stuff, and hopefully it's good.
Okay. All right. Before you go, let the people know who haven't subscribed to my channel that I got going on why they should come and be a part of this.
Oh man, absolutely, man. Listen, you're a hardworking brother, man, and listen, we always got to support each other because what I'm saying, we all we got. You know what I mean? So, everybody go and subscribe with Justin, and tap in and let him know what you think, and and give him a lot of feedback because he's one of the up and coming guys in the business, man. So I really appreciate you for having me on. Um, we tried to set this up like 2 or 3 times. I had work getting away, so I appreciate you being patient with me. And I'm really glad that we got to do this, man. It was a great interview and it was a fun interview.
Yes, sir. Like I said, we'll definitely do this again. Like I said, during basketball season start back up or whatever. So this definitely won't be a one-time thing. So we'll definitely chop it up again. I definitely appreciate you taking time on your busy day to come up here and chop it up with us.
Yeah, for sure, man. I appreciate it.
So, all right, everybody, that's it for episode 179. You can check this out on YouTube. And for the audio version, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. All right, everyone, be great on your way to the figure eight, and always remember to hashtag KTSE. Keep that same energy. From your host, Justin P., and my special guest, Tony Jones of the Athletic. We out. Love you guys, and I'll talk to you guys Wednesday.